The cycle of anxiety. If you want to conquer the anxiety of life, live in the moment, live in the breath. Amit Ray. Overthinking and anxiety are closely linked, creating a complex relationship that affects our emotional well-being. Comprehending how these mental and emotional processes intertwine can provide valuable insights into managing them more effectively. Overthinking and anxiety often feed off each other, locked in a cycle that begins with the brain's natural trigger response mechanisms. The mind, caught in a loop of repetitive thoughts and imagined scenarios, can magnify even small worries into overwhelming stress. This cycle heightens tension, disrupting sleep, concentration, and even physical health. One anxious thought spirals into many, creating a cascade that is hard to escape. Breaking free involves practical steps, mindfulness to ground the mind, cognitive behavioral techniques to challenge unhelpful thoughts, and lifestyle changes that promote mental clarity. Recognizing how these elements are interconnected allows for more proactive choices, fostering emotional resilience and a more balanced mindset. How overthinking leads to anxiety. Like a dog chasing its tail, habitual overthinking and anxiety often go hand in hand, spinning in a cycle that can be difficult to break. Understanding how these two elements interconnect can help you identify patterns in your own thinking and develop strategies to mitigate the negative effects. The trigger-response connection. The trigger-response connection between overthinking and anxiety begins in the brain. When faced with a situation that sparks worry, the brain initiates a response involving the prefrontal cortex (PFC). The PFC is responsible for decision-making and problem-solving, but in the case of overthinkers, it becomes hyperactive, rumination and overthinking. How to stop (ND). This heightened activity amplifies focus on potential problems rather than solutions, leading to persistent feelings of unease and anxiety. Take, for instance, someone caught in a loop of worry about their job performance. With each new task, they replay every possible error in their mind, their thoughts circling endlessly around what-ifs. As this mental replay continues, their heart rate quickens, their shoulders tighten, and they feel a knot forming in their stomach. The brain's alarm bells are ringing, amplifying feelings of fear and dread. Unable to shake these thoughts, they find it hard to focus, their muscles tense, and relaxation seems like a distant memory. Being aware of this trigger response mechanism helps demystify why certain thoughts lead to prolonged periods of stress and unease. Rumination and its effects. Rumination involves repeatedly dwelling on negative thoughts, which fuels anxiety. The more someone fixates on these thoughts, the stronger they become, much like reinforcing muscle memory. Rumination and overthinking. How to stop (ND). Repeatedly pondering, what if I fail? Or, why did I say that? Creates deep grooves in the brain's neural pathways, making such thought patterns habitual. This constant self-critique not only affects mental well-being but also manifests in physical symptoms such as fatigue and disrupted sleep. An illustrative example of rumination can be seen in social interactions. After attending a social event, a person might spend hours replaying every conversation, worrying about possible missteps or awkward moments. Such rumination feeds anxiety, creating a mental feedback loop that saps energy and joy from what should have been a positive experience. The feedback loop. As anxiety leads to more overthinking, a feedback loop forms that exacerbates both conditions. Anxiety heightens awareness of potential threats, real or imagined, causing the mind to overanalyze situations continuously. Rumination and overthinking. How to stop (ND). With a presentation looming, someone's mind races through every possible scenario, rehearsing lines over and over, searching for any possible flaw. As they run through their notes for the 10th time, their palms grow clammy, their heartbeat quickens and their breath becomes shallow. The more they prepare, the more they worry about overlooking something crucial. Each rehearsal adds another layer of tension, thoughts spiraling further, keeping the anxiety alive and kicking. The what-if scenarios. The physical symptoms of anxiety, such as increased heart rate and sweating, reinforce the perception of danger, causing the person to engage in more overthinking to find safety or control. This cycle can be mentally exhausting, leading to avoidance behaviors and further complicating daily functioning. Overthinking often catalyzes unrealistic fears through what-if scenarios, rumination and overthinking. How to stop (ND). These hypothetical situations escalate worries to the point where the hurdle seems insurmountable. Imagining worst-case scenarios makes fears appear realistic and imminent. The person mentioned previously may obsess over, what if I lose my job? Even if there is no immediate threat. This kind of thinking not only induces anxiety but also hampers decision-making and problem-solving abilities because they become paralyzed by fear rather than empowered to take constructive action. In another case, let us consider health-related anxieties. Someone might fixate on minor symptoms, such as a headache, and spiral into catastrophic thinking, what if it is a serious illness? This can lead to unnecessary stress, frequent doctor visits, and even avoidance of normal activities due to unfounded fears. By recognizing this pattern, such a person can start to challenge these irrational thoughts and adopt healthier coping mechanisms. Understanding the interconnectedness of overthinking and anxiety opens the door to developing effective strategies for breaking the cycle.